Every man wears a mask, not to deceive others, but to survive them. You present smiles at work, obedience at school, charm on a date, confidence in the mirror. But what if I told you none of these are you? Carl Jung called it the persona, the face you wear for the world. It's not evil. In fact, it's necessary. It helps you navigate society, gain approval, avoid rejection. But when the persona becomes your identity, you become lost in the performance. You begin to believe you are what others see. You forget the raw, unpolished self beneath. You forget your depths. And in doing so, you invite the shadow. Integration does not mean destroying the shadow. It means owning it, understanding it, letting it inform your strength, not your self-destruction. The goal is not perfection, it is wholeness. You become dangerous, not because you act on impulse, but because you've met your demons and made them your allies. The integrated man is calm not because he lacks fury, but because he has mastered it. Beyond the persona, beneath the shadow, lies the self. Not your ego, not your job title, not your personality, but your total being, all you are, all you were meant to be. Individuation is the journey to that self. It is not a one-time event. It is a lifetime of becoming. It requires silence, reflection, struggle, solitude. You will lose friends. You will shed identities. You will outgrow the stories you once told yourself. But in return, you will gain your soul. This is the Jungian path, the death of illusion, the birth of authenticity, the integration of light and shadow, not to become perfect, but to become whole. You are not a blank slate. You are a vessel filled with timeless forms. Carl Jung called them archetypes, primal blueprints of human experience. The warrior who acts, the sage who sees, the lover who feels, the king who governs. You don't choose them. They live through you. The shadow is everything you don't want to be, everything you were told not to be, everything you've buried to fit in. Your rage, your jealousy, your ambition, your cruelty, the dark impulses you hide under a polished smile. But here's the truth. What you repress controls you, not consciously, subtly, insidiously. The more you ignore your shadow, the more it leaks through. In passive aggression, self-sabotage, envy, projection. You hate in others what you deny in yourself. Until you face your shadow, you are its puppet. The descent into the unconscious is not romantic. It is brutal, ugly, humbling. You will see what you've become and what you could have been. You will encounter parts of yourself you swore never existed, and they will speak with your voice. This confrontation is necessary because only by facing what you are not can you become what you are. The journey is not meant to end in isolation. The final step is return, not as who you were, but as who you've become. The individuated man leads without seeking followers. He influences without effort. He heals without preaching, because his very presence carries depth. He no longer seeks to conquer the world. He becomes the world within himself. This is the way of Jung, the silent path, the hidden transformation, the alchemy of darkness into light, the death of illusion, the birth of the self. The shadow is not evil. It is simply that which has been denied, suppressed, or forgotten. It contains our repressed instincts, unacknowledged desires, and emotional wounds, everything that the persona cannot or will not integrate. To become whole, one must journey into this abyss, not to conquer it, but to understand it. The shadow confronts us not as an enemy, but as a mirror. And when we finally face it, not with fear, but with humility, we realize it contains exactly what we need: strength, passion, creativity, honesty. We bury these things because they are powerful, and power, when unclaimed, becomes dangerous. That is why the path to the self, the totality of who you are, requires descent. It is the archetypal hero's journey, leaving the familiar, descending into the unknown, and returning transformed. The self is not perfection, it is wholeness. It does not seek to eradicate the darkness, but to embrace it, to hold light and shadow in a sacred tension. It is the divine center of the psyche, the blueprint of your full potential, buried beneath the debris of fear, ego, and imitation. This is individuation, Jung's word for the process of becoming truly, uniquely oneself. And it is not a path for the faint-hearted. Society rewards the persona. It does not reward the quiet work of inner integration. But every time you refuse to betray your deeper knowing for the comfort of conformity, every time you sit with your shadow rather than project it onto others, every time you choose to walk alone rather than follow a path that is not yours, you take a step closer to the self. You become more real, more powerful, more free. Individuation is not about becoming better than others. It is about becoming more yourself than you have ever dared to be. Not an imitation, not a reflection, not a role, but the living expression of a psyche that has dared to descend, wrestle with the depths, and rise, authentic, whole, and aware. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that privilege is not given, it is earned through courage, self-confrontation, and the willingness to leave behind the comfort of illusion. So the question remains, will you wear the mask? Or will you meet your shadow and become whole? In a world obsessed with being seen, the real revolution is to see yourself, not the mask, not the projection, but the one beneath the noise, the stillness behind the storm, the one who remembers. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to awaken, to walk the unseen path, to descend into your own depths and return with something sacred, not applause, not perfection, but truth. The world doesn't need more personas. It needs more souls who have met themselves and live to tell the story. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Subscribe not for answers, but for the questions that lead you home.